Hello. How can we forget the Bhopal Gas Tragedy? The leakage of methane gas, it led to harmful impact directly on the human beings and adversely affecting the animal wealth and environment as a whole. Hello from me, students. We are discussing the aftermath. We are discussing about how industries are very important for us, but at the same time they are causing harm of different types, not only to the environment, not only to the human beings, but also they are adversely affecting the health of our cattle, the general health of our animals, certain our biosphere, certain birds, butterflies, insects, etc. They all have come into the clutches, into the trap of the environmental degradation. So we are focusing on the four problem areas. The four problem areas that have been there because of the race for industries. As many as industries have been set up in the countries, and because manufacturing industries are very important for our development. So first of all, we focus on the air pollution. We cannot deny the fact that most of the industries, particularly the bricklines, chemical industries, paper manufacturing industries, etc., they cause a lot of air pollution, oil refineries, etc. Most of the industries, they use coal instead of oil or natural gas. That causes lots of air pollution. Some of the industries, they release undesirable gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide. These undesirable gases, they are released into the air and they create air pollution and affecting the lives of the people, affecting the life of the people on this planet. There were many pleas, there were many demands by the people since long when first industries were set up in Kolkata. Since then there were demands by the people from the government that proper actions should be taken against all those industries which cause air pollution. Now you know that air pollution cannot be measured. In the beginning, when the governments passed acts, Smoke Abatement Act, etc., when they were passed, all the industrialists, they went through that we are not causing, this is not our smoke, because smoke cannot be measured. So this became a very serious problem. And in those states, in those areas where it is hot and humid climate, it was in the form of smog. So even after so many pleas, it went on, although the government passes a number of acts time to time, asking the industries to use oil and gas instead of coal. To reduce air pollution, they should fit smokestacks, etc. But I told you that smoke cannot be measured. So all the industrialists, they go with the small adjustment. We cannot forget the Bhopal Gas Tragedy. For 30 years after the tragedy, the newly born children, they were crippled and people suffered a lot because of the air pollution. They suffered a lot for quite 30 years, a long time. And they hardly got assistance from the government, hardly. So air pollution can be so dangerous for us. So we cannot deny the fact that because of the industries, air pollution is caused. And remember, this pollution do not consider national boundaries. If all the countries have to be equally responsible to check this, otherwise it will lead problem on the earth, on this planet. Second is water pollution, particularly the thermal pollution of water. Most of the industrialists, you know what they do? They throw their industrial effluent into the water. In river, ponds, lakes, etc. They throw the effluents, industrial effluents, which are full of chemicals, full of alkalis, full of acids. and directly polluting the water. What to talk of the NTPC thermal power corporations? Wherever the thermal power plants are located, you know that they use fossil fuels, coal and petroleum and natural gas, and they have their releasing point from the thermal power plant, releasing of the effluent directly to the water, directly to the rivers. And this is so hot. These are so hot effluent, the thermal effluents, they are so hot that they not only pollute water, but they also cause damage to our aquatic life. Whatever aquatic animals are there, fish and aquatic plants, certain plants are there, there are coral reefs, they all get damaged because of the hot effluent that is discharged into the river or into the water bodies. Correct? Some of the industries, they throw solid waste, and some of them they throw soluble waste into the water. Now, water pollution is directly related to the land degradation. Why? Because when contaminated water, the water full of contamination, the industrial effluents, when it is thrown into the water, water percolates inside. Particularly when rain comes, water percolates inside the soil, inside the earth, causing damage to our soil, to our land. Even underground water resources are damaged. Underground water, which we consider to be the purest form of water. So when this contaminated water, when it percolates inside, it also causes damage to our underground water resources. Then we come to noise pollution. Yes, a lot of noise can be irritant to the ear. Lots of irritation is caused. Noise pollution can cause so many psychological as well as physical problems. It can raise our temper, it can cause high blood pressures, it can cause high heartbeat, etc. Psychological problems, headaches, correct? So, in some industries, you know, there is lots of noise, and this is caused particularly because we do not upgrade our machinery. Most of the machinery in the industries is old-dated, outdated, it is very old, it makes lots of noise. You know that new technologies are very good, although they are costly, but they are very good, they do not create noise. So, most of the people who continuously work in those industries like pneumatic drills, saws and drills, all these industries, when they work permanently over there, after some time, they suffer with hearing impairment and they have to use the earplugs, etc. The industries which mostly use the generators, so it causes lots of noise and anger among the people and increasing heartbeats. So psychological as well as physical problems can be there because of the unwanted noise. Correct? So these four types of pollution is created by the industries. Now, what is the control of it? What are the remedies? Remedies there can be three types of remedies. First of all, primary, secondary and tertiary treatments. There are so many treatments, physical treatment, secondary treatment is there, tertiary treatment is there. But first of all, we can say that because water is a precondition of life, there should be minimizing use of water, using water once and again 2, 3, 4 times, reusing it again and again, correct? Then treating hot water before releasing it. All the industrialists are warned that they should treat the hot water before it is released somewhere else. And a very good adjustment, a very good remedy is harvesting the rainwater, which is free of cost, so that we can save our water resources, we can save our water bodies. Then there is primary treatment or physical treatment, there is secondary treatment and tertiary treatment. There are different types of procedures, reusing water again and again, recycling certain things which can be recycled again and again, so that the other resources can be protected. Suppose we are establishing industries somewhere, or we are establishing some factories or this type of establishments for our economic development. or mining is done for the industries, if we have to cut the trees, because this is also very important, setting up industries, for industries doing mining and quarrying, or increasing our agricultural tracts, it is also equally important. But if we have to cut the trees for all this, the environmentalists and the scientists, they suggest us that the same number of trees and plants can be planted somewhere else, so that there is a balance between the deforestation and afforestation. If we are cutting trees at one place for development, we should plant them somewhere else for development, because that is very important for our environment. If environmental degradation is there, if ozone layer is depleting somewhere, it will affect the whole globe, it will affect the whole world. So we have to be very careful about it. Recently, many industries have taken this up. For example, in many of the industries, to stop noise pollution, they have upgraded their machinery. They have fitted silencers in their generators. Most of the industries which causes noise, they have been set up in the outskirts of the cities and towns, outskirts, away from the cities and towns. But the industry which grind limestone, the limestone industries, they have been set up in those areas where population is very scarce. How can we forget the example of NTPC? They have started making scientifically made pits. All the effluents, first of all, they are cooled, they are treated, and they are dumped inside so that they do not cause any damage to the environment, as well as the effluent is also, it is cleaned, it is discharged. Similarly, in many of the industries, the industrial owners or the industrialists, they have started growing green belt around. Green belt means growing trees and plants surrounding the industrial area, surrounding the factories, so that if air pollution is there, there are trees to clean the air. Similarly, many of the industries, they have also adopted the treatments like biological treatment, secondary treatment like flocculation, screening, reducing their wastage, etc. All these new technologies have been adopted by the industrialists to stop different types of pollution, because this is the need of the hour. On one hand, we have to develop, but on the other hand, we have to be sustainable, because the scientists and the environmentalists, they are warning us that the present trend of development is not sustainable. Remember your first chapter of economics. So we have to be sustainable, we have to be judicious, we have to be very judicious in using the resources, and there should be in a planned way, and keeping in view the needs of the future generation also. We don't have to pass a very polluted environment to the future generation. So that is the end of this chapter. We will meet again in the next lecture, starting a new chapter for you. Till then, a very goodbye and prepare your notes.